All right, guys. So here in example 3, we're going to learn how to find the distance from a point to a line. Now, I know this one's sketched out for us, and I know it kind of has nice numbers and intersects at nice points, but we're going to go through it like it weren't. But always at least sketch it out, even if it's not an accurate sketch, just so you have a visual of what you're looking for. All right, so when we want to find the distance from a point to a line, there's quite a few steps. Now, the key here is to understand the process, not try to memorize it. Understand what you're doing, and you don't have to memorize it. Okay, so when we're talking about the distance from a point to a line, we've already talked that maybe like this distance is different than this distance, which is different than this distance and this distance. All these are different distances. Some are longer, some are shorter. So when we're talking about the distance from a point to a line, we want the absolute shortest distance, and that absolute shortest distance is where it crosses it perpendicularly. All right, so our goal here is to find where it crosses perpendicular. So we want to find this point, okay? But before we can find this point, we have to find the equation of this line. Okay, that's perpendicular, so that's a 90-degree angle. All right, so my first step here is I want to find the equation of the line that is through the point 1, 0, so it goes through this point, and it's perpendicular to this blue line. It's perpendicular to the line y equals negative x plus 3. Okay, well, notice this has a slope of -1. And if I want a line that's perpendicular to that, I want the opposite reciprocal. So think of -1, 1. So I want to find the equation of a line that's through the point 1, 0 that has the slope, the opposite reciprocal of -1, 1 is just positive 1 over 1. So just 1. Okay, well, I could put it into point slope form. So y minus 0 equals 1, x minus 1, which is just y equals x minus 1. So the equation of this line here is y equals x minus 1. All right, now that I have the equation of that line, I can go in and zero in on this point of intersection. So if you remember back from Algebra 1, to find the intersection point of where two lines meet, you are going to want to set them equal to each other. So first you have to find the x-coordinate. Okay, so to find the x-coordinate, I know the y value here is the same, so I can say, well, when is negative x plus 3, which is the equation of this line, equal to x minus 1? Okay, so if I solve, I'd add x. So I'd get 3 equals 2x minus 1 plus 1, 4 equals 2x. So 2 equals x. Okay, so the x-coordinate of this point is 2. That's what that 2 represents, the x-coordinate of that point. All right, so now that I have that, I can find my y. Okay, so I can plug my 2 into either equation, it doesn't matter, and you should get the same y. So I'm going to plug it into this equation right here. So I could say y equals x minus 1, well guys, our x is 2 minus 1, so y is 1. Okay, so the value of this is 1. Now it's easy. So now I just want to find the distance from point, so I want to find the distance from point 2, 1, 2, 1, 0. Okay, now I'm going to go and label my x1, y1, x2, y2. We're just going to use the good old-fashioned distance formula. Okay, so it's x2 minus x1, so 1 minus 2 squared, plus y2 minus y1 squared. If I simplify this, this is just -1 squared plus -1 squared. Well, guys, remember -1 parentheses squared is +1, so this is 1 plus 1. which is just the square root of 2. And that would be the distance from the point to the line. All right, using the same method we just did, I want you to try this one on your own. Now remember, go ahead and sketch it out. It doesn't have to be an accurate sketch, but go ahead and sketch it out and kind of try to understand the process, not just memorize it. All right, hopefully you've gone through this. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to do kind of a makeshift, whatever. Okay, so the point 6, -2 is right here. And the point y equals 2x minus 4, well, that would cross at -4 down here. So it'd be something like this. I don't know, guys. This is way not perfect, but that's okay. Y equals 2x minus 4. Okay, and I want to find, my goal here is to find where it crosses this perpendicularly, right? So I want to find the distance from this point to this point. But first I have to find the equation of this line. Like I said, this is not to scale by all means. I'm sure this is way off. All right, so I want to find the equation of that line first. Okay, so I want to find the equation that's perpendicular to this line. So if it's perpendicular to this line, it has an opposite reciprocal of slope 2. So it's going to have a slope of -1/2. And it's going to go through this point. Ooh, that's a 2. All right, so put it in point slope form. I have y minus a -2, so it'd be +2 equals -1/2, parentheses, x minus x1 is 6. Okay, so y plus 2 equals -1/2 x plus 3. And then if I subtract 2, I get y equals -1/2 x plus 1. So the equation of this line here is y equals -1/2 x plus 1. All right, so now that I have the equation of both lines, I can start to zero in to find the coordinates of this point, but I need to find the x coordinate first. Okay, and the way I find the x coordinate is I set these equal. So 2x minus 4 equals -1/2 x plus 1. So I'm going to add a half x, add a half x. Guys, I prefer fractions. So I'm going to say 5/2 x, 2.5 is the same thing as 5/2 x, minus 4 equals 1. Add 4. I get 5/2 x equals 5. Multiply both sides by 2. That goes away. 5x equals 10. Divide by 5. X equals 2. So the x coordinate right here is 2. Okay, now that I have my x coordinate, I can find my y coordinate. So that's step 3. Okay, and I can plug this x into either equation. I'm going to pick this one just because there's no fractions. So y equals 2x, and my x is 2, minus 4. So my y equals 4 minus 4. So my y is 0. Guys, granted, I told you this was not to scale, but this is 2, 0. Okay. So now I've done all the hard parts. Now all I want to do is I want to find the distance from 6, -2 to 2, 0. So step 4, I want to find the distance from 6, -2 to 2, 0. Okay, and I do that by just using the distance formula. So, x1, y1, x2, y2. So this is 2 minus 6 squared plus 0 minus a -2 would be a +2. So this is -4 squared plus 2 squared. -4 squared is 16. 2 squared is 4. So this is the square root of 20, and if you want to go further, you can either simplify that as a radical, or if you don't remember how to do that, you can plug it into your calculator to get 4.47 roughly. And that would be your answer.